I don't have to tell you things are bad. Everybody knows things are bad. Everybody's out of work or scared of losing their job. The dollar buys a nickel's worth. Banks are going bust. Shopkeepers keep a gun under the counter. Punks are running wild in the street, and there's nobody anywhere who seems to know what to do, and there's no end to it. The air is unfit to breathe, and our food is unfit to eat. And we sit watching our TVs while some local newscaster tells us that today we had 15 homicides and 63 violent crimes, as if that's the way it's supposed to be. We know things are bad, worse than bad. It's like everything everywhere is going crazy, so we don't go out anymore. We sit in the house, and slowly the world we're living in is getting smaller, and all we say is, please, at least leave us alone in our living rooms. Let me have my toaster and my TV and my steel-belted radios, and I won't say anything. Just leave us alone. Well, I'm not going to leave you alone. I want you to get mad. I don't want you to protest. I don't want you to riot. I don't want you to write to your congressman because I wouldn't know what to tell you to write. I don't know what to do about the depression and the inflation and the Russians and the crime in the street. All I know is that first, you've got to get mad. You've got to say, I'm a human being. God damn it. My life has value. So, I want you to get up now. I want all of you to get up out of your chairs. I want you to get up right now and go to the window, open it, and stick your head out and yell, I'm as mad as hell, and I'm not going to take this anymore.
Well, hello there, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to this 407th episode of the Political Spotlight. We are, it seems like we're an hour early, right? It's because we're dealing with that bullshit, the daylight saving time. Even the name is screwed up. I cannot, it seems like everyone's like, you always talk about this. I talk about it twice a year. It sucks twice a year. It's never good. See, even Kate added the S to it. And I used to be one of those people, and people would be like, no, there's no S. It's not S. There's no S. And then finally, I am now a stickler, and I hate this son of a bitch thing. If we would just not have it, we wouldn't have to worry about if we were saying it right or wrong, or spelling it right or wrong, or if it's daylight or if it's daylight. That's stupid. The whole thing is stupid. And it has me pissed off because it shouldn't be a thing. It should be 8 o'clock. We should be going live in an hour. That's stupid. I was standing inside a store in a line at 7:30, and I was like, holy crap, I shouldn't be here. I should be home getting ready for this damn show. But I'm here because it's, what time would it have been then? It would have been 6:30. But alas, here we are. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. We are late. I was a little late because of all that nonsense, but then I was also late at the same time. Because I was trying to get my grandparents. Here's the thing. If I take a day off, I'm going to have to stop taking days off. Because if I take a day or two off, my grandparents forget how to get it pulled up on the phone and on the TV. If I take a day off, they run out of the ability to be able to get it on TV like they should. So I was on the phone with them trying to get them. I don't know if they're here, they're not here, they made it, they didn't make it. Who knows? I don't know. If you're here, text me on my phone and let me know that you're here. They're probably still yelling at each other. They've got two remotes. Tell me, this is what leads to divorce. I'm telling you, have you ever heard of a worse situation than a husband and a wife that have two remotes that work the same TV in the same room? I cannot believe they've not killed one another over this. My grandpa will turn the TV on, and then he'll work up and down the remote and up and down on the volume. And my grandma always thinks he's got the volume too loud. So she'll work the volume down, and he's working the volume up. And they're like, no wonder they need, hey, look, they're here listening to me gripe about them. No wonder I'm going over there to their house tomorrow. And from the time I get there It's going to be like class. I'm going to say, okay, class, get out your utensils. I'm going to make my grandpa get out the remote. I'm going to make my grandma get out her cell phone. And I'm going to be like, all right, get the political spotlight up on your device. And they work through it. And if they do it, I'm going to be like, okay, do it again. Do it again. Do it again. Do it again. We're going to do it until it's like second nature to them. I'm not even done griping yet. I got lots more to gripe. Who knew that this thing? Did you guys know that this thing was happening this weekend? This daylight saving time? Oh my God. What are we talking about? Hold on. Stand by. I'm getting an emergency text. So what do you mean, Alva? Did you know that it was coming up? So Alva's saying that he knew that it was coming. Give them a Tweety Bird. Oh, that's hilarious. Give them a Werther's if they get it right. I wrote out a page-by-page notebook for my parents for each thing they wanted to do, email and solitaire. Yeah, my grandma's locked in solitaire. The newest thing that I have going on with my grandma is her cell phones. So I'm an Android person. Yeah, right. No, no, it was somebody else. I can do it. Someone's asking me for an opinion. Stand by here real quick. Oh. Stand by. That's the line. All right. So, sorry, we're great-grandparents. We are great-grandparents, and we love Werther's too. Oh, okay, yes. We got the parents' cell phone because they drove back and forth to Florida. Dad would call and ask if I was on the landline or the cell phone. Chris, that's... that's hilarious. No, so my grandpa really doesn't mess with the cell phone at all. So I'm an Android person. I do Android. I don't do Apple or anything like that. My grandmother has Android because I'm an Android person, and because of that, if I need to assist her, it's kind of like that thing I used to say about my dad, right? So my dad passed when he was 56. So I mean, prior to that, he was always younger than that. And my dad, my uncle was more the technological person. John stayed up to date on everything new technology. He was the very first person, probably in Muncie, to have a cell phone. He had beepers. He had the very best speakers and stereos, and John, he had computers before anybody else had a computer. John was a techno. He loved technology. He loved technology, specifically motor vehicle car technology and things like that. But he liked all kind of tech stuff, and he liked just have the gadgets. And so he and like my grandmother had like the first 2 cell phones in Delaware County, I think. back when all they could do is call each other. They couldn't even call other outside people. They can just like call those two numbers. But I always said the hardest thing with my dad when my dad would call me and be like, "Hey, I can't get on Facebook. My Facebook account's messed up." And I'd be like, "Okay, well, what do you mean?" He'd be like, "It says I'm entering the wrong password." And I'd be like, "Okay, well, I set your password up. I know what your email is. So put your email in, put your password in." And he would be like, "Well, wait a minute. I've got to get to the computer and turn it on." And I'm like, "Well, what do you mean? What do you mean? I thought you just said it wasn't letting you in." He's like, "Well, yeah, last time I was on it, it wouldn't let me in." And I would be like, "Okay, we'll get to it." And he'd be like, "Okay, I'm taking the dust cover off." And I'd be like, "I don't have time for this. Call me back when the thing is up and running." And he would be like, "Okay." And we'd hang up and he'd call me back and he'd be like, "All right, it's running." And I would be like, "Well, click on Facebook, that little app." And he'd like drag it around. He didn't know how to click on it. And it just was like, I would tell him his password and he would be like, "Okay, fat finger, like one finger at a time thing." That's kind of like walking it's hard to walk somebody through when you don't know exactly what it is they're doing on the other line. That's kind of my fear of like, ever going into outer space. If I ever needed to fix something or whatever, like I'm never going to go into outer space, but like having somebody walk you through the steps on the other line, it's always easier if you both are trained on the same technology. And so it's kind of strange, but all right, we've made it through that. Well, okay. So back to the daylight saving debacle. So I did not know that it was last night. I guess part of me thought that it was tonight into tomorrow, which would be stupid. I mean, I guess they don't do that. And that would be bad, but I guess maybe I just didn't think it was this weekend, but when I woke up today, normally when you lose the hour, it's bad, but also when I was just out in the world today felt like the better time, I guess, because it just felt, I don't know, I felt better. I don't know. That's kind of hard to strange, but I hate daylight saving time. It's horrible. Our son connects to our computer and takes over the cursor. Now, that would be cool. They don't have a computer, so I don't have to mess with them with that. Like that kind of stuff would be cool. I wish I could do that to her cell phone. I wish that I had technology that would allow me to take over her cell phone from where I am and then help them through it. Or like the TV. That's interesting. That's interesting technology. And that's interesting that he would know. That's interesting that he would have the ability to. I wonder what gives him the ability to do that. That's interesting. I wonder what gives him the ability to take over your computer from where he's at. I guess that's an app you could probably download on both computers. That's wild. I mean, I know that like the stores can do that. Like, if you call like Apple, they can help take over my Mac, but that's pretty wild. So, okay. So, I was just looking at it. I have a source that's texting some information. We got some interesting stuff to talk about tonight. Always, Les. Always. Is my arm not working? I might need to talk to your son, Tweety Bird. Maybe he could help me figure some stuff out. I'm not. The problem is I'm not technologically savvy. That's the problem. I myself am not technologically savvy, and a lot of people will be like, "Yeah, you must be because look at what you do. And it's like, no, I don't. I bumble through this. And some matter of fact, we're having a problem on our end. It's something I've talked about in the last couple of shows. We're having something where when we share something on the screen, it doesn't put the screen back the original way. And it's causing me much issues, and I really dislike it. And I'm really mad about it. And so I was just talking about that before we came in. Alva, we don't know. Maybe her son's not a Democrat. Her son might be normal. God. All right. So tonight's show, we need to look at a couple things. I wish I would have had this on Thursday because I don't like really hearkening back and trying to go into a thing again. But I was going to say over the weekend, but it's not really over the weekend. At about 8:30 tonight, I received a correspondence from, all right, I can deal with that. He's libertarian. I can deal with that. Sounds like a smart kid. I got a correspondence from Mr. Andrew Dale. Andrew Dale, of course, for those of you that are not familiar, he is on the Muncie Redevelopment Commission. He's the bald head dude that kind of always fights back and forth with Ridenour. The Ridenour team and Jeff Howell and all of that. He is also he is a Democrat. He also ran for mayor in 2019, the same time Dan did. He is also currently the newly elected chair of the Delaware County Democratic Party. And so I didn't know I was going to get this correspondence. I'm happy that he sent this to me. But he sent me his correspondence to the, I guess, about the mayor's state of the city. This is a 2-page letter where he offers a rebuttal to the mayor's state of the city. Now, I'm going to offer up to you guys, if you're watching this and you have not, number one, watched the mayor's state of the city, and you're interested in watching the mayor's state of the city, which on Thursday, I believe that we deemed it was like an hour and 10 minutes, maybe an hour and 50 minutes or hour and 15 minutes, something like that. It's real close to an hour 5, hour 10 minutes, something like that. Pretty short. You can go back and you can watch the entire mayor's state of the city if you want. But if you would rather not just watch that, and that might be too dry, I would offer the opportunity for you to go back and watch episode 406. That's the review of the Muncie, Indiana's 2025 State of the City address. That is the episode that we just last did on Thursday. It's an hour and 19 minutes. And in that, we focus pretty much on a real quick, minute by minute rundown of the mayor's meeting. We don't watch it. We watch a couple of points where the mayor says a couple of different things. But basically, I highlight what the mayor says. We go through it. And, it's not just a complete dog fest. I don't dog him all the way through it. I tell you what he talked about. I tell you what I agree or disagree with. And it was a pretty, concise retelling with my commentary. And so you might go back and watch that. We're not going to spend the entire show tonight on this, but I do want to read this to you and allow you to hear this. I'm going to also publish this on my social media when the show's over, so you will be able to see this if you want to. I will also put a link in the description to this YouTube video for those that are interested in seeing it that way. All right, so here is his correspondence to me, and I'm sure he sent this to other media and others throughout Muncie and maybe East Central Indiana. Delaware County Democrats for immediate release. Contact Andrew Dale, chairperson, Delaware County Democrat Party. He's got his Gmail, his phone number, and it's dated today's date. Democratic leadership response to mayor's State of the City address, Muncie, Indiana. The Democratic leadership of the Muncie City Council and the Delaware County Democratic Party have responded to Mayor Dan Ridenour's State of the City address delivered this past week. I give Mayor Ridenour credit for giving a smooth speech about what he sees as big achievements for Muncie, said Harold Mason, president of the Muncie City Council. But for my Democratic City Council colleagues and me, we would appreciate hearing more about the true condition of our roads, or how meaningful jobs can be created, or how to address our growing homeless population, how to manage property code violations in distressed neighborhoods, and how to alleviate the poverty that nearly a third of Muncie's residents face. Little mention was made about those things, said Mason. Now, I do want to take a moment and say, if you go back and you watch our review of the State of the City, I mentioned Ridenour focused on what he called quality of place. And in the quality of place speech, he broke that up into the three parts of I guess what he believes is quality of place, being public spaces, housing, and infrastructure. Obviously mentioned here would be the roads, and in infrastructure, right now we're barely focused on that. Matter of fact, he called infrastructure people. He called infrastructure the police and the fire and the street department employees and the people at City Hall. He didn't focus, in my opinion, on what true infrastructure was. That was a complaint of mine. He also did not address, period. He did not address at all homelessness, which is rising in the city of Muncie. I remember when I was young, there was an old a TV show made in the late 80s, early 90s called Adventures in Babysitting. And I remember watching that as a child. And in this show, this teenage girl is babysitting this group of kids for a family, like in Chicago, I believe it's set in, or New York, one or the other. And these kids go on this adventure all around the city at night, and they get, it's just crazy. And I remember in my mind thinking, whoa, that's what Muncie looks like at nighttime. And there's like people sleeping out on the streets. And like, I just remember thinking like, oh, that's dirty and gritty. For anybody that watches, I just recently watched it within the last year. It was on TV and I sat down and watched it. And I laughed. I was like, I used to think that Muncie looked like this. That's hilarious. Thank God it never did. It still doesn't. Even with as bad as things are now, Muncie never looked. I mean, Muncie's not obviously Chicago or New York. But however, I remember growing up and being very familiar with the city, being a divorced kid. I bounced back and forth between my mother and my father, and my mother's house, my grandmother's house, and my father's house, my grandmother, just bouncing back and forth. And I went from north to south and was all over the city. I was in the city more as a kid than most people else around me from where I live, because I live kind of north of the city. And that's one thing that never happened. There weren't homeless people. I mean, obviously there were people with a mission, but you just didn't have people really sleeping on streets and whatnot. But man, I'm telling you, in the last 5 or 6 years, that has really, really increased dramatically. The number of people that you can go and see standing on corners, and the number of people who, if you drive downtown, are waiting outside of like the overflow center where they let people go in and just have a cot for the evening. You know, I talk about this to my grandparents. There are people waiting outside of that building. They let people in at 6 p.m. and by 4:30, 5 o'clock, there's people sitting outside there, and a line grows as it gets closer to 6. And, you know, I know it's not a pleasant thing to talk about. I know it's not a fun thing to talk about, but I think that anybody who wants to call themselves a leader in government in this city or county, I think if they don't talk about the homeless issue, that's extremely short-sighted, wildly short-sighted on the mayor's part. And so that's a shame. But I will agree with Mr. Dale. And look, this isn't about me taking Ridenour's side or being a Republican or being a conservative or him being a Democrat and me taking it's just being truthful here. Because look, there's a lot I disagree with Andrew Dale about. A lot. But on this, and this is Harold Mason, and I agree with Harold Mason. You know, I was disappointed that Ridenour's State of the City didn't focus any real effort on roads other than making the absolute ignorant statement of, we've paved a tremendous amount of roads. We've paved more roads than any other time in Muncie history. Where the hell are those roads? All right, getting back to the Democrats' rebuttal. The mayor's remarks did not include updates about some highly touted yet abandoned or stalled projects of his first term. The public deserves an update on when the long-promised Muncie Crisis Center will open. Listen to me. Ladies and gentlemen, I went to the Muncie Crisis Center on Friday. I was there at 3:30. There were 4 cars parked in the parking lot up close to the building. The building had a light on, and it looked as if there were people inside, workers. But I can't tell you if they had a patient or didn't have a patient. I can't tell you how long they would be there, but I know that they were gone an hour and a half later. Those cars were gone. And I get that we were told that there's some sort of soft rollout. My question is, how long is this bullshit soft rollout going to happen? It's apparently been going on for over a month now. I honestly don't believe that, because this Friday was the only time I personally have ever seen cars there. Ever. Okay, Darla Barber sent me a picture with cars there. It was in the middle of the day, but when I got to the location within 30 minutes, there were no cars in the parking lot. And I'm telling you, I don't care if it's Meridian Services or if it's the Ridenour administration or if it's the police department. If they seriously think that Muncie citizens' crisis are only occurring between 8 and noon or 8 and 5 Monday through Friday, they have a real big other thing coming, because that's not reality. So yeah, I would like to know what the deal is with this, and I'm going to be screaming this louder and louder and louder. There was no mention that City Hall has abandoned, for the time being, the highly publicized Southway Plaza project Mason added. Going on, Andrew Dale, chairperson of the Delaware County Democratic Party, said, and why did Mayor Ridenour not mention that he bought the former GM site for $110,000 after he failed to gather support for a solar field due to not being able to demonstrate the financial benefit for the citizens of Muncie? Now the city has lost approximately $25,000 in annual property taxes and inherited about the same amount in stormwater fees going forward every year, not to mention the upkeep of the former contaminated manufacturing site. That's a loss of more than $50,000 per year. Ridenour mentioned nothing about this. We've talked about it on this very program here. And you listeners and those that dip in and listen at various other times or listen on the audio podcast platforms, they're aware of all of this. But I guarantee you the friends of the Ridenours who attended that meeting, those who find themselves in the same social status as the Ridenours, the ones that are there and are cheering him on no matter if he's fumbling or not, they're not aware of all of the blunders, or maybe they don't care about the blunder. I don't know in what position they are. I don't know if they just don't care. I don't know if they would clap if he was wrong or not. I get that impression. A lot of them do. But I don't know that they're aware of this. I mean, my question is, if he sat down and had a real serious talk with them and said, hey, we squandered all of the money that we paid out on the South Way Plaza deal, would his friendly friends be as happy to clap and cheer for him if he talked to them about that, if he was upfront and honest? Or the fact that it's on the South Side, would they just simply not care? It's not their money, they think, so they don't care. I mean, they're paying the taxes on it, but, out of sight, out of mind. Okay. Moving on. Mayor Ridenour has shared that home ownership will increase due to two projects supported by the city over the past few years. City View Homes 1 and City View 2. When in fact the rental housing units are tax credit projects, which must satisfy a 15-year period of affordability before being made available for purchase and prospective home buyers. This fact has rarely been acknowledged by the mayor, Dan Ridenour. The truth is that most of the new housing in Muncie is low-income tax credit developments, said Dale. And listen, for the people that are out there that are saying, well, this is just a Democrat attacking Ridenour. Listen, folks, I'm a constitutionally conservative, libertarian-minded individual. Ridenour and I are, quote unquote, on the same side. And I agree with what Andrew Dale's saying here. Andrew Dale, sorry. I've got a brother named Andrew, so you'll have to forgive me for that. I mean, no disrespect. I don't know if he goes by Andrew or Andy. I don't know. Professionally, I'd be calling him Andrew. Sorry about that. There are several examples where over the last 5 years, the mayor has overpaid for property purchased and sold low when selling properties, Dale said. And I agree with what Andrew Dale is saying here. Absolutely. This is all truthful information. This is what happens when unilateral decision-making is exercised, void the benefit of appraisals, the lack of involvement of subject matter experts, and the curtailing of full public participation when planning projects. During his presentation, Ridenour said more people would live here if they had places to go. In response, Dale said, I believe there are many wonderful places to go in Muncie, but the real question is how to get to those places. Given the conditions of our roads, people have made their life's investment here, and businesses rely on corridors of commerce. The conditions of our roads is core to our quality of life. Maybe before annexing neighborhoods and adding new parks or purchasing more property without the benefit of public participation, we can create a better plan for our roads. Our roads are our Achilles heel. And listen to me when I say this. I am tired of hearing the administration tell people, you don't know what you're talking about when it comes to the roads. Some roads are Muncie, some roads are county, some roads are state. Listen, for the most part, everybody is fully aware of who's responsible for what roads. I understand there are some people out there that don't, but there's no confusion on what's going on with the road when you're talking about being west of the bypass and east of Broadway on McGalliard. Everybody is aware of whose road that is. There's no confusion of who we're dealing with or who should be dealing with it when we're talking about Hoyt from, say, 18th Street to 12th Street. We are aware of whose road that is. And that road was just paved. And if it's already cracking, that's a problem. There's no question about whose responsibility Tillerton is from Kilgore to Bethel. There's no question. I understand that some people might get a little in the weeds when they're talking about, roads on the boundaries here or there. But for the most part, we are aware that when we're talking about the road there at Batavia and 8th being horrible and all these, people know what city roads are. And they are horrible. And for right now, we're to say like a tremendous amount of paving has taken place in 2024. That's insane. Andrew Dale ends by saying, for more information, contact Andrew Dale, chairperson, Delaware County Democratic Party. So they've put that out. They put that forward. I'll be honest. I think that Andrew Dale could have went on for another 5 pages, probably. I don't think that anything he said there is crazy partisan. I think it's just factual information, Now, I want to go down here and talk about some of these because I'd been off screen for a minute reading this. So Dan has done nothing for the South Side except lower property prices even lower and making it the homeless capital of the region. All this is to drive out the last of the homeowners. This seems like predatory lending. North Broadway is in bad shape. Yes, sir, it is. Kate says that's the road. That's the road that tries to munch on cars. That's a mess. Dan needs to fix that. That's hilarious. David Williams, look at Fishers. They have great roads. And yes, I know their tax base is larger. Yeah. It's 12th Street, 7th. It is shitty roads. Okay. Yeah. A tremendous amount of paving has taken place. Just not in Muncie. So there's that. Oops, I messed up there. See, that's the thing. When I share this picture and I go over here, when I would go back, it should take me back, but I don't understand why that's happening. I got to write these people and find out what the hell's going on. Okay, so moving on from there, reserved by Crew Car Wash is a mess. Yes, that is correct. I wondered about that. Are your roads down there good? Stumblefoot says Dale seems all right as long as he doesn't let the progressives in his head. You know, the thing is, Andrew Dale used to be a Republican. I would like to know what took place. I would like to know. I'd like to walk down Andrew's history of what the change was that occurred that made him go left. But yeah, you got to be careful with getting too progressive. And we build on swamp. Yeah, they are good, and they're built on swampland. Yeah, that's right. That's right, Alva. Okay, so that was that. I've not heard anyone else kind of give any kind of major big shout out positively or negatively to right now, or give any kind of other rebuttal. I did see that CBS 4 sat down with Dan right after the state of the city was Thursday morning. I guess they sat down with him on Friday morning and they talked to him and they talked with him about it, but it was basically just rehashing what had been said, so it wasn't anything. Do you think yeah, yes, Joe Black, where we're going, we don't need roads. That's a very good possibility, a very, very good possibility. Now, something has come to my attention, and this is something that I find very very odd. I'm interesting. I'm interesting to. I would be interested to know. It's interesting, I guess, that this is happening, and I would be interested to know what is going on here. Now, I want to be very careful to say that I am not in any way bashing the people who are trying to create a business here. I want this business to succeed. I want these people to succeed. I have no ill will towards these people whatsoever. So for the last little bit, a husband and wife has been working on a project to bring a martini bar to downtown Muncie. It's called Rojo's, a martini bar. And I'm not kicking these people. Business is hard. Small business is hard. I fully get it. I'm not kicking these people. Okay? It's tough being a small business owner. You know, my father was a small business owner, small to medium business, and it's tough. It's really tough. So for those that do not know, the old, okay, so the Muncie used to have a couple gay bars in Muncie. Confetti's was one of them. What's the other one? What's the Mark III Tap Room? And Mark III Tap Room was for a long time famously right there at on Main Street, right, just real close to Main Street and Walnut. And then it closed there and it moved. And for those that maybe are not familiar or don't remember or did not know this, the Mark III tap room moved into this building. Now, this is kind of hard to see if you don't familiar. If you're not familiar, this is basically this picture is seen from kind of like the corner of the road. You're basically what you're doing is you're looking. The road going this way is Walnut, and the intersection here is Charles. Okay, and so this building here that was painted up, this became Mark III Tap Room. Well, a couple months ago, Mark III Tap Room left. They shut down, and they're no more. So Rojo's Martini Bar is going into this building, and I think it's going to be a great location. The people who are running this, a lot of people maybe maybe you don't know. It's Angie and Matt Howell. Matt Howell's a photographer. Here's the press release. This is Rojo's Muncie to bring upscale cocktails and classy vibes to downtown Muncie. New Martini Bar and Cocktail Lounge set to open in the spring of 2025. Muncie, Indiana. Muncie's nightlife is about to get sophisticated upgrade with the opening of Rojo's Muncie, a Martini Bar and craft cocktail lounge set to debut in the spring of 2025. The new upscale establishment is the latest venture from Angie Rogers Howell and Matt Howell, the entrepreneurial duo behind the Farmhouse Creative, who are now bringing their passion for community and innovation into the world of hospitality. Located in the heart of downtown Muncie, Rojo's Muncie will offer an elegant yet inviting atmosphere, perfect for locals looking to unwind after work, impress a date on date night, or simply enjoy cocktails in a stylish settling. The lounge will feature a curtailed menu of craft cocktails and martinis, complemented by a selection of appetizers and desserts, making it an ideal spot to begin or end an evening out. Our goal with Rojo's Muncie is to create a comfortable and inclusive gathering place where people can enjoy exceptional drinks, great company, and light food offerings. If there's nothing more I love in this world, it is a light food offering. That just sounds like you're feeding me something like Soylent Green. Said owners, they didn't say anything about Soylent Green. That was my part. They said the light food offering. Said co-owners Angie Rogers Howell and Matt Howell, I guess. We felt Muncie needs a gathering spot for locals to unwind after a day at work, enjoy a cocktail before heading to the downtown restaurants, or enjoy a nightcap after catching a show. A show of what? Where? What show? From coming in all the way? What are we talking about? Oh, the Civic Theater. Okay, sorry, I just completely forgot. We can't wait to welcome guests into a space that feels both timeless and fresh. With old school movies like Casablanca playing silently on the televisions, and jazz music piped into the speakers, guests can expect to be completely pissed off when there's a complete overhaul of senses going on. They can expect ambience in both lively and intimate, a place where conversations flow as smoothly as the jazz and the cocktails. Whether you're a martini connoisseur or looking to explore new flavors, Rojo's promises an elevated experience in the heart of the city. We've poured our creativity into this project just like we have with all of our other business ventures, added Matt Howell. This is a dream come true for us, and we're excited to bring something new to Muncie's nightlife. More details, including the official opening date and sneak peeks of the menu, will be announced in the coming months. Follow Rojo's Muncie on social media for updates and exclusive previews. And don't forget to meet me at Rojo's. Boy, that sounds amazing. Maybe they'll be come advertisers here on the show. No, listen. Here's the thing. Same owners as what? No, it's It's Angie and Matt Howell, not the owners of. It's not going to be the owners of the Mark III. It's a new people. Anywho, I have to say I'm a little jealous because I always wanted to have a cop bar for like cops to go into. You know, you see these like on like, you know, you see like them in like big cities like New York or whatever, and have like cop memorabilia on the wall. Cops and firemen, attorneys can go, anybody could go into it, but it would be like and I'd call it like the 1042 because that's the code for off duty. I always thought that would be cool. When I was younger, I would be like, when I was on the police department, I was like, you know what? One of these days I'm going to have a cop bar, and it'll be like a place where all the police go in and, you know, get drunk and drive home drunk before getting up and going to work the next day to arrest people who drive drunk. That will be cool. I had a whole bunch of cool names I wanted to call it. So I kind of dig this thing. And I'm not taking shots of these people whatsoever. Please, 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 please. A gang hangout, basically. Yeah, it'd be like a gang clubhouse. Stumblefoot has exactly what I mean. He knows exactly what I mean. Yeah, so that's exactly right. Now, Kate, I'm going to send you a couple of pictures. Can you put these up if you get a chance in the overlays, if you possibly can? I'm going to try to figure out what the best way to do this one. Okay, I sent you 4. The Thin Blue Line would be a cool bar name. That's a little on the nose. I think that's probably done. Hilarious photos of cops violating citizens' rights. We'd all sit around and laugh afterwards. It could be called a term that I hate. You know, whenever there's a police officer involved shooting, this is a really bad name for it. A lot of people have heard this. I've said this a lot, but it's really bad. But a lot of times you'll hear it called a good shoot. Okay. Like, oh, that guy, you know, that's a good shoot. That's a good shoot. And that's really bad, though, you know, because it's always bad when, you know, there's a shooting, whatever. I see that, David. What is Joe Black wanting me to read again? The Thin. Oh, I see it. Now that is cool. I didn't get it. It's not the Thin Blue Line. Ooh, that's good. The Thin Blues Line. I like that. I like that, Joe. That's really, really, really good. The Thirsty Popo. That's good. Anywho, the reason we're talking about this because it's like a local business. This is not something I specifically ever talk about. However, I'm talking about it because it was brought to my attention the other day that there might be, thank you very much. There might be something interesting about this bar that I might want to take a look at. The Thin Booze Line. You guys are killing me. I love it. I love it all. So I love every bit of that. It's so someone told me that I might want to take a little bit closer look at this place. So upon driving by, here's this here, okay? And I was looking at this, and this orange sign here that we have up. Hold on. Stand by. All right, sorry. We had to assist a dog. There was a dog downstairs that was having some trouble. Sorry. Okay. Where were we? So I was told that I would want to look at this a little further in detail. Little look at the details a little closer, I guess. And upon driving by here, you notice this sign that is in the glass. And upon further inspection, this is what I see as you get out of your car and you approach this glass. Indiana Alcohol and Tobacco Commission, ATC, public notice of application for alcohol beverage permit. Applicant, American Bar Company, LLC, doing business as Rojo's, 308 South Walnut Street, Muncie, Indiana, 47305. Type 210 and supplemental catering, beer, liquor, wine retailer. Application RR 1838235 and other letters, and has filed for the following new location place to place transfer from location pending. The board meets at the Commissioner's Courthouse, and it was on March 6th at 8:30 a.m. So we've already missed this. Well. Stumblefoot. It's interesting. Okay, because you get here, remember, it says American Bar Company. Yeah. American Bar Company already has a license. However, what they've not done is they haven't shifted the license to somewhere else from a new location, calling it a different name. And David Williams, I wouldn't as much call it Munson's license. Okay? I wouldn't as much call it Munson's license as I would call it Dustin Clark's license. So for everybody that doesn't maybe remember, it's been a while since we've last talked about the American Bar Company, LLC, that whole ordeal, all right? I will take the time here to briefly show you that if you go to the Indiana Secretary of State's business search, and you look up American Bar Company, and you type in that I am not a robot, you click that, and you hit search, it then pulls up American Bar Company, LLC, legal name, domestic limited liability company. And if you click on it, then it opens this up, and it lets you know that American Bar Company, LLC was created on 6/27/2021. It's open. Everything's good. And the governing persons are Cindy Buchanan, Belinda Munson, Dustin Clark, and Cindy Buchanan again. I would assume she's had a change of address there, whatever. She didn't, so I don't understand what's going on. I don't know why she's on there twice. Whatever. Okay, it is what it is. Then I noticed that the registered agent's name has changed. So now we see Edwards Payroll and Tax, Inc. So if we click on that, and we go back, and we return to search, and we click again, I am not a robot, and we look up Edwards Payroll and Tax, Inc., and we hit search, we then come up with all of this, and we find Deborah L. Edwards of Albany. Now, I don't particularly off the top of my brain know who that is. I don't know who Debbie Edwards is. And I just realized what a dumbass I am. I just realized why I've been making the thing go large. I know I know how to stop it. Okay, well, good. See, we truly do get to the bottom of mysteries here. I'm such a dumbass, man. I might need to go get checked for dementia. I honestly think that I'm having issues. Anywho, it's just an overload, I'm telling you. I am, and not even really. I fail half the time. Didn't have a location to move to until Dustin raped the tax. Okay, I see. I was like, God, Alva getting serious. He said raped up here all of a sudden. Rape the taxpayers for the funds to open elsewhere. So here's the thing. I what do you click if you're not a robot? If you are a robot, I don't know what you click if you're a robot. I'm not a robot, so that thing doesn't appear to me. No, but what we have to find out here is what exactly Dustin's involvement is. Now, while I've got you here, and I meant to do this earlier, but I was doing something else pertaining to this, was I need to look and see if I can find... Okay, so the name of this is the Indiana Alcohol and Tobacco Commission, ATC. Keep that up there 1 second. Indiana Alcohol and Tobacco Commission. And I need to look and see Muncie, Indiana. I need to see if there are meetings... Surely they keep minutes, right? So we'll do this. We'll share this. We'll put this down. We'll share this. Surely they have to. Let's see. Commission meetings. Okay. But this has to be the whole big thing. This can't be. This isn't from Muncie. I need to find the Muncie. Surely there has to be a Muncie. What is this? Must appear in person or by counsel as a remonstrator against the application at the local board hearing. Identify themselves at the local board hearing, their names, address, and telephone number. Okay, so that's funky. Okay. Good old Belinda Munson is a cardboard box jokes. Alcohol. You know, I haven't had really any kind of massive big run-ins with her. In a while. I know she was going to she like got all crazy as it pertained to Audie a while back, but okay. So I'm trying to find out if there's anything Rojos. Oops. I did the wrong thing. See what this is. You guys still, oh yeah, you guys still see this. Hi all. All right, let's see if we've got anything going on here. Ringo's. Not what I'm looking for. Why would the first Presbyterian Church of Fort Wayne
so they can put a beer tap in the basement into their, community room so they can have, wedding showers with, alcohol.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah. Or receptions, sorry.
That makes sense. Okay, so I think I think that all right, let me see. Let me see what more information I need to look up here. Click on this. I go in here. American Bar Company. That's what I'll type in the search. American Bar Company. Yeah, right here. It's February 27th. That must be when they applied. Alan. Oh, this is. Oh, I see what you see what they've done here. Okay. All right, come on. Bartholomew, Benton, Blackford, Boone, Brown, Cass, Clark, Clay, Clinton, commission meeting. Okay. Why would this not be? Wouldn't. Okay, let's see here. All the American. Also, now it's got to be at the end of this then. All right, stand by, folks. We're doing research as we go. Give me 1 second here. I'm just going to look and see. So here's, I guess, what I'm getting at. The bottom line is I want to know what involvement with this Dustin Clark has. How much is he going to make off of this? All right, here we're getting into the... All right, here's Delaware County. Okay. Lahode Steakhouse. That's weird. Do you see anything that says American Bar Company? Minnetrista. The Guardian Brew Company. Salsas. Dollar General. Wedding Factory. Oh, that's okay. We gotta see what the date is on this. The date is the okay. Well, I'm going to have to look through this further. I'll look through this further on my own time. This is just all the stuff's coming in. But the bottom line is, what is this man making? How much money will he be making off of this? What's the deal now? And this is what really are those only renewals. That might be, but when I searched for that, it popped up. As you can see here, it did pop up there. American Bar Company, and it says catering new application, which is what that would be. So they just had their meeting on Thursday, so I would assume that they don't. Okay, so Kate said, no, you cannot lease a liquor license in Indiana. State law requires that the license holder has control over the license and is responsible for the following alcohol sales regulations. Alternatives to leasing liquor license. Purchase a liquor license, the most straightforward option for businesses that sell or serve alcohol. Transfer a liquor license. Existing business that holds a license can transfer it to a new owner who meets the eligible requirements. Requirements for liquor license in Indiana. New or transfer permit application. Property tax clearance schedule, county verification of business location, certificate of existence from Indiana Secretary of State, floor plan that meets the ATC requirements, and payment by business check, cashier's check, or credit card. So here's now the question, and this is where we have to go with this. Here's what we have to do. We have to find out if, number one, Dustin's going to be involved with this at any point after these people open up. Because I want nothing but the best for these people. I have no ill will towards them. Want them to have a successful business and yada, yada, yada. But I want to be sure that we are not, as a city, now sinking money to these people for like economic development and things like that, if Dustin Clark is going to be involved with it. And I want these people to be fully aware of what getting into bed with Dustin does to their credibility, to everything else that goes on because of Dustin's previous shenanigans. Okay. And so once again, there's nothing wrong with someone having multiple irons in the fire. There's something wrong with a government official, a government public servant having a bunch of irons in the fire in which they're making money or benefiting off of their position as someone working for the government. So that's the difference. And that's what my concern is. My concern has nothing to do about these people trying to open and create a new business. And I wish them all the luck in the world. I just hope, number one, they're very careful when interacting with Dustin. And number two, I hope it doesn't reflect on them. So that's where we are. That's exactly right. MLM warrior, why waste time changing time? Exactly. Dustin will be manning the glory hole, and that's a very good possibility too. So that's interesting. I'm just very interested in this because this has just recently come my way, and sadly, I learned about this after the meeting. I would have been to the meeting. I could have asked these questions, found these questions out there, and kind of found out what was going on. Because as you notice in the overlay, it says American Bar Company, LLC. Ooh, matter of fact, let's real quick while I'm still here on the Indiana business search, let's look up Rojo's and see if I can find anything there. I hope that Dustin is not connected with this because this would seriously cause me some issues. All right, we found it. Okay, and so as you guys, I don't know. Oh no, you don't see this yet. As you can see here, once I blow it up, they do not have anything to do with this. So there's Angela Marie Rogers Howell and Matthew Wayne Howell. And it's got all of their information here. Now, I am interested, Kate, in knowing. I know it says the wife is the registered agent is the wife, Angela Rogers Howell. So Dustin's nowhere on this. But my question, and you are kind of the resident person here at the Political Spotlight that knows more about this. when this says American Bar Company doing business as Rojo's, what does that mean? What does that entail exactly?
That could just be the way they're putting it up there for preparing for a transfer.
Okay.
License. I don't know how they're doing that because the American Bar Association can be doing business as when they don't own that business. Doesn't really make a lot of sense.
Is your connection thing all the way in again? Nope.
For a minute.
Now it is. What?
I'm not really sure about that one because
Okay.
it doesn't make a lot of sense.
Yeah.
Because they don't own both businesses.
Yeah.
So how can one business be doing business as the other business?
Yeah, that's weird.
Yeah, so I don't know.
So it's not the same thing as like when Dustin was marked down in the thing that he was doing business as municipal, Hoosier Municipal Operations. That's one thing, but having one business, yeah, this, okay. So
yeah, I don't know.
Okay, that's all. I just wanted if you had any kind of input on that. Thank you much. So all right, that's that. I will be following this obviously, and again, this is not specifically a political thing. And for everybody out there that's I know I'm gonna be inundated with people that are like, well, wait a minute, you know what? I want these people to succeed. I wish them nothing but the best. I have no ill will or no bad intent for them whatsoever. My only concern is, number one, we all know how the American Bar Company whole ordeal came to be, and we were all worried about all of this, you know, so that's my concern. And look, it's not just Dustin, right? American Bar Company is also Belinda Munson. And the deal here is, while I'm very concerned about Dustin Clark as a contract employee for the city, Belinda Munson is an elected government official. She is the elected city clerk of the city of Muncie. So, you know, anything that happens here, anything that happens towards Dustin, it's also, you know, has the potential to affect Belinda as well. And, you know, there again is something that I think it would just make sense to watch. So I've got nothing bad to say about this. Good luck. You know, let's keep Muncie drunk. Let's get Muncie drunk. Let's make Muncie drunk again. You know, it's at the old Gabe. Let's make Muncie gay and drunk again. I don't care what you do, where you do it at, and who you do it to, or who you do it with, or whatever. That's all on you. But if I have an LLC name and then I can do business as whatever other name I want to use. So yeah. And the American Bar Company is an LLC that's made up of Dustin, Belinda, and Cindy Buchanan. That's American Bar Company. But then on this thing, it just says applicant, American Bar Company, DBA, Rojo's. And I just don't know. And I don't know. We'll have to wait and see when the meeting minutes come out. And again, the meeting was just on Thursday, so maybe they'll have to approve the minutes at their next meeting before they put them up, but I will keep an eye out on this. Also, just before we go, registered suspicious. Let me see what here. Suspicious that the registered agent is different if it's the same people doing business under the other name. Yeah, that's the other thing, is that the American Bar Company changed their registered agent at some point because Debbie Edwards is now involved, and I don't ever recall her being involved before. So that's interesting there. So this will be an interesting thing to watch. I'll be watching this. So that's that. Also, before we go, I want to mention that it is the week of Monday. The business week is Monday the 10th through Friday the 14th. So this week, on Tuesday, we have the Madison County Council meeting at 6 p.m. On Wednesday, we have the Board of Works at 9 a.m. Henry County Commissioners meeting is at council meeting is at 11 a.m. The Muncie Sanitary District is 11:30, and then the Council of the Commissioners in Henry County is at 4:30. And then on Thursday the 13th at 9 a.m., we have the Delaware County Redevelopment Commission meeting, which that will be an interesting meeting. And then at 6 p.m., we have the Anderson City Council meeting. So those are our meetings this week. It's kind of a slow meeting week, but we have the Delaware County Redevelopment Commission meeting, and I think that's going to be interesting. I will be back at that meeting. That's Amber's the president of that board, and John Brook is the attorney there, along with Danielle Struble. And I think they're going to have an interesting meeting, which I want to be part of. Also, the last thing that I want to cover before we go, when I broke the story to the to everyone about the new scandal with the Muncie Fire Department, after I broke the story, I then sent my write-up and all of my information and the link to the video. I sent that to various partners of mine in the news media. I sent it to some people that I know at Fox. I sent it to some people I know at WIBC. I sent it to some people I know at WTHR and at Wish TV. And Bob Siegel from WTHR picked the story up. Of course, he is the reporter, the investigative journalist that ran with the story the first time with the whole Dulaney stuff. And I was taking some shit for breaking this news on the second story. Some people were telling me that I was wrong, that I didn't know what I was talking about, yada, yada, yada. And I just want it to be known that after I broke the story, when I had reached out, oh yeah, those were good times, Stumblefoot. I was in the tail end of that, but unfortunately, anyone I ever beat deserved it. I'll say that. I never just beat anybody. I used force to stop the craziness, but moving forward. After I released the story, I reached out to the chief of the fire department, to the mayor, and to the deputy chief. Now, so that you guys are all aware, they're all named Dan. So they're the three Dans. Dan Ridenour, the Muncie mayor. Dan Burford, the fire chief. And then Dan Nind, horrible name, is the deputy chief. And I reached out to all three of them and I asked them for, any kind of statement or clarification, anything they cared to say about any of this. And I received back a statement and an email. And we've talked about this. We talked about this just briefly, but I will share this with you. Again, just to talk about what I'm going to talk about here in a second. The fire chief gave me a statement that said the Muncie Fire Department is aware of allegations concerning the sufficiency of the CPR recertification classes recently administered for the department. The Muncie Fire Department takes the allegations seriously, and an investigation is underway. There will be no further comment from the department at this time. At that time, he had already sent out. So after I broke the story, but before he sent me that statement, he had sent out an email to all members of the Muncie Fire Department stating, effective immediately, I am suspending all certifications and recertification courses, classes at MFD. This includes, but is not limited to, the ongoing AEMT and scheduled rope ops, tech, and CPR. I am truly sorry for the inconvenience and hope that these classes can be reinstated quickly. I appreciate your understanding and dedication to the mission of the Muncie Fire Department. Respectfully, Daniel Burford. Okay, so that all like happened and was out there. Okay. Then this, I guess Friday, the WTHR released this. State investigates more training irregularities at Muncie Fire Department. The department is once again the focus of investigation after new allegations about CPR training. 13 Investigates has learned the Muncie firefighters and EMTs will be required to retake a CPR training class following more controversy involving the department's training and education purposes. Allegations of improper CPR training surfaced at the end of February in an email obtained by 13 News. The email from 3 high-ranking members at the Muncie Fire Department claims recent CPR trainings given dozens of Muncie EMTs and firefighters was not within the approved guidelines of the AHA, American Heart Association. In fact, the recertification process was so egregious that we are compelled to report this to the state of Indiana. Okay, and I want to be clear here. I guess those 3 people might very well have sent something to Bob Siegel as well. However, the email that he is talking about here is not, to my knowledge, an email that they very well could have sent him something. But in my opinion, based off the information that I have, the email that he is referencing is an email that these 3 individuals sent to the state. Now, I have this document, this email, but I am not releasing this email currently. And the reason I have not released this currently is because it has 3 names of individuals, and I consider those 3 individuals to be whistleblowers. I consider them to be people who are attempting to do the right thing here. They are attempting to let the state know, hey, there are issues at hand, and we are trying to do what's right about this. So once I know that that's out through everyone else, or that they're known or whatever, I will release that. I guess I could release it redacted, but I'm holding on to it, and I just need to check a few other things before I fully release it. But you guys will see that at some point. It goes on. The email was sent to the Indiana Department of Homeland Security, and both IDHS and the American Heart Association confirmed for 13 News that they began investigating the claims immediately. The concern was also shared with the Muncie Fire Chief, Daniel Burford, prompting the department to temporarily suspend training courses at MFD. Officials from the state were in Muncie Wednesday to meet with the fire chief. Following their meeting with Burford, the Muncie Fire Department will now require its members to retake the CPR courses. Let me tell you, if this was not an issue, if this was, in fact, if I was wrong, they would not be mandating them to retake this. I'm going to tell everybody the issue is not specifically how long it took. The issue is their training records were falsified. So CPR, when a new person takes a CPR course, it takes roughly 4.5 hours. When someone is recertifying, you can recertify in probably 2.5. A lot of places will just make you do the same training for certification or recertification. So you can count on it basically being 4.5 hours. I don't specifically know if the fire department does A or B. I don't know which they do. But I know the allegation here is the training that these people took, they were only in on those 3 days, roughly about an hour to an hour and a half. That's how long the training lasted. But when the training was marked down, the training was marked down as 4 hours, all 3 days. And so that's the problem. If you're falsifying these hours, you might as well falsify or anything. Who knows what else you can trust? Okay. So it goes on to say that the state agency will also send its training director to monitor the CPR training to make sure it's done correctly. Indiana firefighters and EMT must obtain CPR recertification every 2 years as a part of their continuing education requirements. The city of Muncie's communications director sent 13 investigates a brief statement on behalf of the fire chief and mayor, indicating that they take these allegations of improper CPR training seriously and are conducting investigations. Here's something I want to say. I question that because the fire chief and the deputy fire chief sat through the bullshit training. So I like Chief Burford, but my question is, you look complicit with this. It looks bad. I'm just saying. Okay. While portions of the investigation have concluded, it remains an ongoing process, Burford wrote in a statement. The Department of Homeland Security has reviewed the situation and confirmed that certification courses can resume. Additionally, they have committed to providing assistance and oversight as needed to ensure the continued safety and well-being of both our personnel and the community that we serve. All right. Both Burford and Muncie Mayor Dan Ridenour declined to answer questions and to be interviewed by Channel 13 News. The American Heart Association told Channel 13 investigates that there could be consequences for CPR trainings that fell short of the organization's guidelines. In the event an instructor does not offer trainings that meet the AHA's association's core standards, we may offer the instructor remedial training, suspend their instructor certificate, or revoke their instructor certificate. The American Heart Association Communications Director Tim Harns added, the high-quality CPR can double or triple the chances of a person's survival during a cardiac arrest. Questions about the Muncie Fire Department CPR training came as the department is still dealing with ongoing controversy involving Muncie EMTs and firefighters cheating on other certifications exams. An ISDH investigation determined that Muncie Fire Captain Troy Delaney orchestrated the cheating by telling EMT recruits they should share with him the actual test questions and answers from their national certification exams, the strict violation of exam rules, so he could pass the information along to future test takers. The state investigation also concluded that Captain shared test questions with firefighters and EMTs before they took certification exams. An administrative law judge later ruled the state failed to prove some of its key claims against Delaney, recommending more lenient sanctions against the longtime Muncie firefighter and that he not be punished with permanent revocation of his EMT and firefighter certifications. Delaney, who remains on paid administrative leave nearly 2 years after the 13 investigations first reported on the cheating allegations, still face the possibility of stiff disciplinary actions by the state regulators and the Muncie Fire Department. He's also filed a lawsuit against the fire department. You know, whether it's founded or not founded, that's another question. You know, that will be determined by a judge. And there apparently is an upcoming merit commission meeting. So I don't know if any of this will be talked about or not be talked about. We'll have to wait and see. I don't know if the CPR stuff will be talked about. We'll have to wait and see what happens there. So I will be there. I will be following that and watching what goes on. And we will go from there. So it's going to be kind of a slow week meeting-wise, but Muncie stuff should be kind of interesting, and we'll keep you all abreast of what's going on all of these things. Obviously, we will be live the rest of this week, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. Please feel free to reach out with me or to me if you have any questions or information. Get a hold of us if there's anything that you know of or that you know about or whatnot, and we will do it all again tomorrow. Please hit the like button before you go. If you would, that would be fantastic and helpful. Share the show with everyone you know. Help spread the word. And yeah, we'll go from there. We will be back this time tomorrow, 9:00 on the dot. And we're still waiting on the check. I'm actually going to go in and talk with Brad tomorrow about that. But whatever comes on about that, I'm also going in and talking to, I'm going to go and talk to the Redevelopment Commission on Thursday. That meeting is coming up. There is one crucial piece of the puzzle that I am not wanting to release publicly about this yet. So that's the reason I've not said anything about it. I'm waiting until I get confirmation about something because I don't want to tip my hand and let the people in the high places know that I know something first. So I am not going to let this slip away. This is a hill that I'm absolutely going to die on. I promise you all that you will know what's going on soon. I just can't tip my hand until all of the pieces are in place. So I'll keep you posted. We will know something more about that this week. So stay tuned, ladies and gentlemen. If you need to get a hold of us, you know how to do it. You can hit us up at the studio line, text, or call us. We'd prefer a text before the call, but do what you got to do. You can also find us on all the social medias there. Thank you all for everything. God bless each and every one of you. Oh, hey, lastly, I do want to say, sadly, I was contacted today by a gentleman's wife from Newcastle. It probably doesn't hurt to say. I don't think there would be any reason not to say. Give me 1 second. Let me get this pulled up here. I do want to offer this up. I probably should have asked, but I mean, it's public. It's all public record, so it's not like, or public knowledge rather. So it's not like I'm telling anything out of school. Give me 1 second here. Let me get this pulled up. I meant to do this, and then I had the issue getting everybody logged on at first. So that was let me get this shared here. One more second. So, yeah, here we go. I was contacted by the wife of Mr. Todd Klotz, and she informed me, unfortunately, that Todd passed away on March 4th. And Todd was a viewer of ours. He watched, to my knowledge, he's been watching since the whole debacle down in Newcastle started, since I first started talking about Sproles and everything going on. He's been watching, and he and I have communicated in messages, and he would contact me every now and then specifically about something going on. He was one of those, he's like Alva. He was one of those people that watched pretty much religiously whether or not we were talking about Newcastle or Sproles or not. And he kept up with what was going on everywhere else. And we chatted periodically. And so he was definitely somebody that was just more than a viewer. Unfortunately, David, he was somebody that loved to communicate about all of this, was very interested in politics. We talked about music and a lot of other things. So he had, man, it's just real freak occurrence. Was in good health, 64 years old. He and his son both developed the flu, the influenza A, at the same time. And they were both put in the hospital on ICU. Unfortunately, he took a turn for the worse. His son pulled out of it after about a week. And unfortunately, Todd passed away. And so I just want to take a moment to have a moment of silence for Mr. Todd Klotz. Guess I should have done this at the beginning, but maybe I'll say something about him tomorrow. But just a quick moment of silence for Todd. Definitely was a friend of mine, and I appreciate that his wife reached out and kept me up to date with what was going on. I was completely shocked. I didn't know that he had been sick. I don't look at social media the way my social media is just insane, so I don't look at it the way that I should. But I hadn't even known that he'd been sick. So when she contacted me, I was completely saddened and shocked by this. But my thoughts and prayers, and all of our thoughts and prayers, go out to Todd and to his family, to his children, and to her. And I'm going to try to get down to his viewing at the end of this week. So I just wanted to put that out there. And so our thoughts and prayers to him. So, all right, the rest of you guys have a good evening. Take care. God bless. Have a good night. And we will see you back here tomorrow at 9 p.m. Eastern. Take care. Good night. Goodbye.